Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Wednesday, 18 June. I'm your host Daniel, and today we're going to be talking about, what a shock, Iran. So we'll do a quick day 5 update. We'll talk about kind of the post I posted last night about why Russia is hesitant to help Iran in the conflict. And then we'll talk about why the Strait of Hormuz is a critical global oil supply, as it's a pretty cool article. So firstly, the Day 5 update. The UN nuclear watchdog has announced that an Israeli strike on an Iranian nuclear complex in Natanz directly affected the underground uranium enrichment facilities. How do they know that? Strange. The German foreign minister and the German chancellor both expressed respect for Israel's attack on Iran, with Friedrich Merz calling it a service to Western allies. At a speech on the sidelines of the G7 in Canada, he said, "This is the dirty work that Israel is doing for all of us." Additionally, US President Donald Trump continued to send threats to Iran via his Truth Social platform, warning that his patience was wearing thin. He also said that their only option is an unconditional surrender, which did make me laugh. He said, "We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is hiding. He's an easy target, but he's safe there. We're not going to take him out just yet." The US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered the deployment of additional defensive capabilities to the Middle East. Meanwhile, China has accused Trump of fanning the flames of war for escalating the conflict between Iran and Israel with these remarks. So what? I mean, yeah, it's just more of the same. We're just seeing Israel and Iran continue to trade strikes. The US posturing is pretty interesting. There appears to be a possibility that the US might try and enter the conflict to essentially finish off the Iranian nuclear capability. Whether they're all looking for regime change, I don't know. Trump's comments around unconditional surrender are interesting because, I mean, that would basically be the end of the regime, right? Outside of that, it seems like just more of the same, which is likely going to continue for at least a few more days, if not a week yet. And next, since Israel began attacking Iran's nuclear infrastructure, Russian President Vladimir Putin has been actively engaged with global leaders, voicing his strong opposition to Israel's actions. He condemned the strikes as violations of international law and expressed solidarity with Iran, reinforcing Moscow's long-standing strategic partnership with Tehran. Despite the growing alliance strengthened by shared opposition to Western sanctions and Iran's entry into the BRICS agreement, Russia is still unlikely to offer military support. While they have a comprehensive strategic partnership that reflects their deep ties and notably avoids any mutual defense commitments, indicating that Russia seeks to avoid further military engagements in the Middle East. Instead, Moscow appears more interested in positioning itself as a mediator. Analysts suggest that Putin may be using his role to maintain influence and potentially broker negotiations between Iran and its adversaries, including through indirect diplomacy with the US. This strategy also serves Russia's interest in Ukraine, with Western attention diverted by the Middle East tensions. The Kremlin recently launched a major strike in Kiev, possibly exploiting the distraction. So what? It appears to me likely that Russia does not have enough capability to support Iran, even if it was willing to. Though, as the article highlights, it is beneficial for Russia to divert attention away from its war in Ukraine, there are likely some major, medium to long-term issues that will fall out of the conflict. namely the loss of manufacturing for drones and other military equipment that was being supplied to Russia from Iran. And lastly, the Strait of Hormuz is a key waterway that lies between Oman and Iran and connects the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. The US Energy Information Administration describes it as the world's most important oil transport choke point. It's the narrowest point of the waterway at just 33 kilometers, or 21 miles for you Americans, with the shipping lanes just 2 miles wide in either direction, making it a crowded and perilous location. Large volumes of crude oil were extracted by OPEC countries such as Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, and Iraq from oil fields across the Persian Gulf. Consumed globally flow through the strait every day. This includes around 20 million barrels of crude and other fuel substances. The conflict between Israel and Iran has put renewed focus on security in this waterway. Iran has in the past threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz to traffic in retaliation to Western pressure. Since the fighting between Israel and Iran broke out, however, there haven't been any major attacks on commercial shipping in the region. But ship owners are increasingly wary of using the waterway, with some ships having tightened security and other cancelling routes there, the AP news agency has reported. Electronic interference with commercial ship navigation systems has surged in recent days in the waterway and the wider Gulf, naval sources told Reuters. This interference is having an effect on vessels sailing through the region, they said. So what? This has been one of Iran's biggest threats in the build-up to this conflict and for the past 20 to 30 years, that they would use shorter ship missiles to close the Strait of Hormuz. I think in like military war games years ago now, this was like one of the biggest things they did that like shut down the global economy and basically forced the attacking nations to the table, as it just, ruins so much stuff. But so far, it doesn't appear that Iran has been able to hasn't attempted to do it, and even though they've talked about it, they haven't, which is quite interesting to me. It's quite possible that Israel's preemptive strikes shut down their ability and capabilities to use these missile launchers in that location, or that they just don't have the right equipment to do it effectively. Either way, the fact they haven't done it is a big indication of how poorly this is going for Iran, as this is their ace in the hole, as the word might be. But yeah, it's still a possibility. They might attempt to do it in the future, but with the lack of current air defense, it's likely that if they attempted to move any kind of shorter ship missiles into location for potential strikes, that firstly, Israel would strike them on behalf of the US, and if that didn't work, the US would just step in and destroy it themselves, as this would be significantly damaging to the global economy. But yeah, that's been your Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you again tomorrow. See you!
You have unread texts from Golf Buds. Would you like me to read them?
Yes.
Okay. Johnny says, what are the nicotine pouches you had on the course? Walker says 8 milligram on nicotine pouches. Billy says, I love the mint one.
I like that one.
Walker says, me too. By the way, you both stink at golf. LOLOL.
Come on. Carry on nicotine pouches. Shop now at onnicotine.com/group text. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.